Morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll get started in just a couple minutes. We still have a few people that are getting logged in. So while we're waiting on everybody to get logged in, at the bottom right-hand corner, just a little information for later. If you have a question that you would like to send in that I can answer for you, there is a box down in the bottom right-hand corner that says type your message, and that will pop up on my screen, and then I can answer those at the end of the presentation. And we did get a lot of messages and questions on the registration form, so I will try to answer those during the presentation today. If you had a specific question that you asked about a particular tour or about a particular area of Scandinavia, we'll reach out to you directly with that information so that you get a little bit more detailed information than what I probably will provide you here today. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to Brekke Tours, as well as our tours and services that are being offered in 2019. We'll journey through Scandinavia today via pictures from all of the Scandinavian countries. Now, my name is Amanda Hancock, and on behalf of Brekke Tours, we look forward to introducing you to our own favorite corner of the world, Scandinavia. Before we get started into our main presentation, I would like to present you with a special offer as a way of showing our appreciation for joining us today. From now until Friday, February 15th, you can save $100 per person on our 2019 Best of Norway tours or our Captivating Scandinavia tour. When you use promo code WEB19 on your tour application form. I'll send a copy of this information to everyone that registered for the webinar by email, so you don't have to worry about remembering this. And then also, I'll put this up again a little bit later on in the presentation, so no need to write it down. So for those of you who are new to Brekke Tours and are wondering about our connection to Scandinavia, we were founded in 1956 when Arne Brekke, a student from Norway, worked his way through graduate school in America by conducting summer tours in Europe. We're a family-owned company located in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and we offer a wide variety of products and services such as our own escorted tours, independent travel packages, customized tours for individuals, families, and groups, heritage travel, as well as cruises. Now, our goal here at Brekke Tours is simply to strengthen the cultural and ethnic ties between North America and Scandinavia by creating meaningful travel experiences. So why visit Scandinavia? Why do people want to go? There are many reasons, but I've summed up a few here. First is the natural beauty and phenomena. You have glaciers, fjords, mountains, forests, the midnight sun, the northern lights. You can find all of these in Scandinavia. Scandinavia also has a truly rich history filled with Vikings, kings and queens, wars, great wealth, hardships, and so much more. And the culture of the Scandinavian countries are unique to each area, yet at the same time they can be quite similar. Nature, family, education, and hard work are all highly valued by the folks living in Scandinavia. And most Scandinavians speak very good English, making it an easy place to get around on your own. And speaking of which, the public transportation in Scandinavia is very good. There's buses, trains, and low-cost flights that you can choose from, so it's easy to get from point A to point B. And of course, the food. There's fresh seafood, freshly baked bread, fresh fruit. These are all commonly found in Scandinavia. And finally, Scandinavia is a relatively safe destination. In fact, you may see babies sleeping in their strollers outside of shops and restaurants. So why should you travel to Scandinavia with Brekke Tours? Well, first and foremost, we are a full-service Scandinavian specialist. We have over 60 years of experience of travel within Scandinavia. We travel to our destinations and on our tours so that we can assist our clients with their vacation. Our tours feature destinations that you won't find on other tours by other tour operators. In fact, you won't find our tours anywhere else. So we create these tours. They're built on our experiences and client feedback. So they've been, perfected over the years, I guess you could say. Now, all of our escorted tours can be customized with side trips to visit areas of heritage. You can add pre or post tour extensions, or if we can't make that work, we can create a completely customized travel experience just for you. And while on our tours, you won't have to worry about added expenses for tours or sightseeing activities. What you see on the itinerary is what is included. So a lot of your meals, of course, all of your hotels, transportation, sightseeing, your guide, everything is included in your package, even airfare from Minneapolis or Chicago. So if you want to add a cruise or combine your tour with a visit to another country while you're overseas, that's not a problem. Our sales staff can help with those arrangements so that you only have one point of contact and you have one person that you can rely on to help with the planning of your trip. And finally, when you travel with Brekke Tours, you can be sure that you are treated as a valued client, not just another body in a seat. Our goal is to make your travel experience meaningful, which means providing you with excellent customer service from the first phone call until you return home from your trip. So in 2019, Brekke Tours is pleased to offer 15 different tour departures during June, July, and August. So we have 4 departures in June, and then we have several in July. You can see that's quite a busy month for us. And then in August, we have 2 departures. Those are our Splendor of Norway tours that are uh, off season, I guess you could call them. So they're a little bit later in the year. But no matter which tour you decide to join, there are some key points that are included in all of our tours. The first of which, you're getting a good value for your travel budget. Scandinavia can be expensive, but by taking advantage of group discounts, many clients feel that they receive much more than what they paid for. Most of our tours do involve a bit of walking each day, but with that being said, if you do have mobility issues, please call our office and talk to one of our agents. We can help ease your concerns and make recommendations suited for your activity level. We do allow free time in larger cities such as Oslo, Bergen, Trondheim, Stavanger, Stockholm, and Copenhagen. Our tours typically start around 8 to 9 a.m., and we try to have you to the hotel no later than 6 or 7. We also offer luggage handling at most hotels, and our tour director will meet you at the arriving airport and stay with you until you depart the tour. You'll also notice that most of your meals are included in the itinerary. We also try to include special meals such as dinner at a local farm or at a unique location. Now, for your comfort, all of our tours are on first-class touring coaches. They have large windows, reclining seats, footrest, and the larger buses even have bathrooms on board. So you can sit back and relax while our fabulous bus drivers chauffeur year-round in style. And finally, all of our tours can be customized with pre or post-tour extensions within Scandinavia or beyond. Now, with the exception of Land of the Midnight Sun, all of our tours also include a visit to Bergen and Oslo, as well as a journey through the fjord country. In addition, you'll also get to see a staved church, which is one of the iconic symbols of Norway. Another activity that's included on all of our tours, again, except for the Land of the Midnight Sun, is a ride on the famous Flam Railway. It's ranked as one of the top 20 train rides in Europe, so we feel it's something that all visitors to Norway should experience. So who will you be traveling with? Now, while on Brekke's escorted tours, you'll meet a variety of people, but in general, these folks are from the US and Canada. They have ethnic ties to Scandinavia. They're retired. They enjoy learning new things and seeking out new adventures. Some of the interests commonly found among our tour participants include history, embroidery, folk music, dancing and singing, hiking, and other outdoor activities. Now, our tour directors typically meet the group at the arriving airport within Scandinavia, and they'll stay with you until you depart. Our tour directors hail from the US as well as Scandinavia, and English is the only language on the tour. However, we do try to throw in a little local language throughout so that you're inclined to learn some new words and phrases. We also have local guides that will join the group for short periods of time. They are there to provide specific knowledge about a city, a museum, or historic site that you're visiting. And where will you be staying? Now, if you're unsure if where you'll be staying, not to worry. All of the tours included on our escorted tours are first class or superior tourist class hotels. These hotels are usually found in the heart of major cities, within walking distance to main attractions, so that during your free time you will be perfectly located to explore on your own. Now, once we're outside the main cities, in the countryside, we tend to use hotels that are along the fjords or situated in the mountains, which are ideal for hiking or relaxing in. And some of the hotels we frequent are historic properties with interesting histories. Whether they served as a German headquarters during World War II or were transitioned from a warehouse into a beautiful waterside property, all the hotels will have private bathrooms with a shower or a tub. You'll also enjoy a Scandinavian breakfast buffet each morning, and some hotels offer additional amenities such as swimming pools and guest laundry facilities, which provides a nice opportunity to freshen up your clothes while traveling. Now, while traveling on a tour, you'll primarily get around by bus. So our buses are first class travel motor coaches. So we have several large buses that we use, and then we have a smaller bus that we use for some of our tours that are small group tours. So they both have large windows, reclining seats with footrest, and personal comfort controls for the AC. So the larger buses do have a restroom on board as well. You'll also enjoy train rides through magnificent scenery and cruises along the fjords and waters of Scandinavia. So just to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect during a typical day, here's just a short summary. So we'll start with breakfast at the hotel, and then the group typically departs between 8 and 9, depending on what is scheduled for the day. We do include several stops throughout the day for food, bathroom breaks, and activities. Most of the time, you'll spend maybe 4 hours on the bus driving. Some days will be a little shorter, some days will be longer, but 4 hours is probably about average. We do include on the board while on board the bus. The tour director will keep the group entertained with information, songs, language lessons, and more. And then the group will arrive at the hotel in the evening. Usually there's time for a walk, relaxation, or even a swim before dinner. And then before the group goes their separate ways, the tour director will advise of the departure time for the next day. So now that we've kind of given you a little bit more information about Brekke Tours, your fellow passengers, and what you might expect on a tour, we're going to delve a little deeper into what you might see and experience while on two of our escorted tours in 2019. And first off is Best of Norway. So Best of Norway is a wonderful tour for the first-time visitor to Norway, especially if you want to include a visit to Stavanger. Now, another one of our popular tours, Spectacular Norway, is somewhat similar to Best, but instead of going south to Stavanger, it goes north to Trondheim. So depending on where you want to go, you could choose Best or Spectacular Norway. So Best of Norway, we have three departures in 2019, one that's in late June, one that's in mid-July, and then one that's in late July. So as you can see from the map, this tour begins in Oslo and routes through Lillehammer, Geiranger, Loen, Flom and Voss, Bergen, Valsnes, and Stavanger, and that's where the tour will end. So you'll depart the US on day one and arrive in Oslo the next day. You'll collect your luggage and meet your tour guide and then transfer to the Grand Hotel, which this is a picture of it here in the heart of Oslo, and it's here that the rest of your day is free. So that night, you'll meet the others in your group at a welcome dinner. Um, so you can meet your tour guide a little bit more and meet some of the other fellow passengers that you'll spend the next few days with. Now, after a good night's sleep, you'll start fresh on day 3 with a sightseeing tour of Oslo. Now, we'll visit the Vigeland Sculpture Park, the Viking Ship Museum, as well as the Norwegian Folk Museum. The rest of your day is free to explore Norway's capital city independently. Now, during your free time, you may wish to explore Akersnes Castle. This castle dates from 1299. It was a medieval castle and royal residence developed into a fortress in 1592, and then after which it was rebuilt into a Renaissance castle between 1637 and 1648. It has several magnificent halls, a castle church, royal mausoleum. There's models of the castle inside, and there's the government reception rooms and banquet halls. So you may also want to visit the nearby Resistance Museum, which documents Norway's domestic World War II history from the years 1940 to 1945. The exhibitions have recreated 5 years of occupation through pictures, documents, posters, objects, models, and original copies of newspapers and recordings. The Oslo Parliament is also another building that you might want to visit. It's quite spectacular on the inside. Now, on day 4, we'll depart Oslo and travel north to the Olympic city of Lillehammer. Along the way, we'll stop at Hadeland Glassworks for a chance to do a bit of shopping, and you can enjoy a snack here. We'll also stop for a farm dinner and a tour before being welcomed into the family home, and that's where we'll have our meal. If we're lucky, we'll also have an impromptu performance of music and singing. Many of our guides love to sing, so they are not bashful at all. We'll continue on to Lillehammer for a visit to the 1994 Winter Olympic sites. Here you can ride the ski lift, meet some potential Olympians, and marvel at their feats of athleticism. Now, day 5 takes you through the Gudmundsdal and Oda valleys to Lom. We'll stop in Lom for a chance to visit the State Church and the Fossheim Stone Center. The Stone Center not only includes a stone museum, but also a jewelry gallery, which many people enjoy. If shopping really isn't your thing, there's a great bakery in town where you can grab a snack. Now back on board the bus, we'll drive over the Grotle Mountains to Norway's fjord country. If the weather is clear, we'll drive up the winding road to Dalsnibba Observation Point for a view of the Geiranger Fjord below. Afterward, we'll proceed to Loen, where we'll have dinner and overnight at the Alexandra Hotel. On day 6, we'll begin the day with a troll cart excursion to the Brixdal Glacier, one of the most accessible and best known arms of the Jostebring Glacier. And you can actually get right up to the water and feel how cold it is. It's it's very brisk. En route to Flum, we'll stop at Aldhild Viken's weaving workshop for a chance to do a bit of souvenir shopping, and we can also pick up a snack here. We'll ferry across the Sogne Fjord and continue over the Vik Mountains to Flum. We'll have dinner and overnight at the Fretheim Hotel. Now on day 7, we'll depart Flum by boat and cruise to Ireland and Narre Fjords. The Narre Fjord is the narrowest and best known of the many arms of the Sogne Fjord. With its steep mountains, hanging valleys, towering peaks, snowfields, waterfalls, and small hamlets, the fjord is perhaps the most outstanding natural attraction in Norway. We'll arrive in Gudvangen, and then we'll meet the bus and return to Flum. Back in Flum, we'll board the Oslo-Bergen Railway to Myrdal. We'll board the Flum Railway, the Flum Railway to Myrdal. We'll ascend 2,800 feet within 13 miles, past thundering waterfalls, through 20 tunnels to the mountaintop station of Myrdal. And then in Myrdal, we'll switch to the Oslo-Bergen Railway and we'll continue to Voss. From Voss, we'll meet our motor coach and our driver once again, and we'll continue by bus to the historic city of Bergen. And here's just a great view of the city. We'll have a relaxing evening in Bergen, and then the next day we'll enjoy a tour featuring Trollshagen, which is the home of Norway's famous composer Edvard Grieg. Learn more about his family and music as you tour his family home of 22 years. Next, we'll walk through the historic Hanseatic Wharf and hear stories of the people that used to live and work in the wooden buildings lining the street. Your afternoon is free to shop, sample the wares at the fish market, or ride the funicular to the top of Mount Floyen for a view of Bergen. The next day, we'll travel the coastal route to Stavanger, and in Valsnes, we'll stop for a tour of the Nordvigen History Center. Valsnes was home of the first kings of Norway, and it was here back in 2011 that the Viking ship Draken Harald was under construction. The Viking ship sailed to America a couple of years ago, and you may have heard about it on the news as it ran into some problems when the crew reached the Great Lakes. We'll continue on to Stavanger via the underwater tunnels. And then on your final day in Norway, we'll enjoy a sightseeing tour of Stavanger, which is an 18th century city. Then it's time to say goodbye to Norway as we pack up and head to the airport for the flight home. Now, just to sum up the highlights of Best in Norway, we're going to tour the Norwegian Folk Museum in Oslo. We'll have a farm tour and dinner, visit Hadeland Glassworks, and view the 1994 Olympic sites in Lillehammer. You'll get the Norway in a nutshell experience with the cruise on the Nerøy and Ireland fjords as well as the Flom Railway. We'll have a guided walk through Bergen's Hanseatic Wharf, visit the Nordvigen History Center in Valsnes, and we'll get to explore Stavanger both with your guide and on your own. Price for this tour is $45.95 with airfare from Minneapolis. And if you are one of those that have miles that you've been saving up for forever and would like to use those miles, you could purchase the land only package, which is $36.95, and then use those miles to cover your airfare to Oslo and then out of Stavanger. All right. Next, we're going to take a tour through Norway, Denmark, and Sweden on our 14-day adventure, Captivating Scandinavia. This tour departs July 6th and returns home July 19th. So we're going to start in Bergen this time and travel through Flom and Oslo before we cruise to Copenhagen. And finally, from Denmark, we'll cross into Sweden. We'll travel through the Kingdom of Crystal, which is Vassö, over to Gothenburg, and then finally to Stockholm. So again, you'll depart for Norway on day 1 with arrival into Bergen on day 2. You'll meet your guide and bus at the airport and transfer to the Clarion Admiral Hotel where the rest of your day is free. I would suggest getting outdoors when you arrive. This will help reset your body's internal clock to the new time zone. A visit to the fish market, which is just down from your hotel, is a great way to do that. You can also explore Hawkins Hall or simply relax at one of the restaurants near the wharf. All great ways to spend the afternoon. We'll begin day 3 with the sightseeing tour of Bergen, again featuring a visit to Trollshagen and the Hanseatic Wharf. Now, the Hanseatic Wharf was a main hub of trade for Norway going back nearly 1,000 years. So after the tour, you'll have some free time on your own. You can explore Bergen independently or relax at the hotel. And there's a picture of our hotel that we'll be staying at right on the water. So it's a nice property. On day 4, we'll depart Bergen and drive to Voss, where we'll board the train for the trip on the Flum Railway down to Flum. After arriving in Flum, we'll cruise the Ireland and Narre fjords to Gudvangen before driving back to Voss. The next day, we'll proceed to Oslo with stops along the way, including Borgund Stave Church. Now, day 6 begins with a sightseeing tour of Oslo featuring Vigeland Sculpture Park and the Viking Ship Museum, and the rest of your day is free. So you'll have opportunity here as well to explore the Akershus Castle, the Resistance Museum, the Parliament Building, all those other sites. So on day 7, you'll have your morning free in Oslo, and then in the afternoon, we'll transfer to the pier for your overnight cruise to Copenhagen. You can relax and enjoy dinner on board before letting the ship rock you to sleep in your upgraded outside cabin. We'll wake up the next morning as we cruise into Copenhagen. After disembarkation, we'll tour the city's major sites and learn about Copenhagen's colorful history dating back more than 6,000 years. The first written record regarding Copenhagen dates back to 1043. Now, the reigning monarch, Queen Marguerite, can trace her ancestry back to the Viking Age, which makes Denmark the world's oldest kingdom. After our city tour, the rest of your day is free to explore Stroget, which is the world's longest shopping street, Frederiks Church, Nyhavn, or Amalienborg Palace. So lots of things to see and do in Copenhagen as well. On day 9, we're going to depart Copenhagen and drive to Hillerød for a tour of Frederiksborg Castle. This was built as a royal residence for King Christian IV, and the castle is now a museum of national history. A new permanent exhibition shows the history of the castle and the museum. It includes parts of the castle previously closed to the public. You can see the original sculptures and decorations before the fire in 1859. Now, the palace ground also boasts a beautiful Baroque-style garden that was recreated in 1996 according to the original drawings from 1725. So it's if you enjoy gardening or botany of any kind, then this would be a great place to spend some time. Just a quick glimpse inside of the castle. You can see the audience chamber in the top left, the chapel in the top right, and then the great hall in the bottom center. So it's quite magnificent on the inside. Now we're going to continue to Costa Boda in the Kingdom of Crystal. The Kingdom of Crystal is a region of Sweden which contains 15 glassworks dating back to the 18th century. The glassworks have become part of the culture of Sweden, and examples can be found in many Swedish homes, recognizable by a small sticker at the bottom with the name. Tonight, you'll enjoy a hit-still dinner with traditional food and music. And then after we leave Costa Boda, we'll proceed to Vasho, where you'll spend the night. Our next day, we're going to travel to Gothenburg, and it's here that we will spend 2 nights. But before we depart Basho, we're going to visit the Swedish Immigrant Institute. The original purpose of the institute was to increase the understanding of and document the great Swedish migration that took place between 1846 and 1930. In recent decades, the institute has expanded its mission to document the immigrant experience of those who have left their homelands behind. So afterward, that's when we'll continue to Gothenburg, and we're going to spend the night there. Next day, we'll learn about the history of this port city on a morning sightseeing cruise through the Dutch-inspired canals. Now, after the tour, your day is free to visit the Volvo Museum, the Fish Church, or the Gothenburg Museum of Art. And day 12 takes us through the Swedish countryside as we travel from Gothenburg to Stockholm. Along the way, we'll enjoy music, language lessons, and commentary from your guide. This will probably be one of the longer days by bus, but again, we'll stop quite often for breaks and, just to get a snack and that sort of thing. Now we'll arrive in Stockholm and the tour will end here on day 14. But before we say goodbye, we'll visit the Vasa Ship Museum, the City Hall, and other places of interest on a half-day sightseeing tour. Now the Vasa ship, there's a great picture of it here. It's a wonderful museum, and during your free time, if you choose to return, you can easily spend a day in there just marveling at the carvings on the ship. So this is a great tour if you want to experience all three countries at once. You'll tour the Frederiksborg Castle, enjoy a Hitzel evening at Costa Boda, which is in the Swedish class district. You'll also have free time in Gothenburg to pick and choose what you wish to see. You'll have a sightseeing cruise in Gothenburg, as well as a sightseeing tour in Stockholm, and a visit to the Vasa Ship Museum. So this tour with airfare from Minneapolis or Chicago is $57.95. If you would prefer just to have a shorter tour, we do offer the option to join just a portion of this tour, which would be either Norway, so you would start in Bergen and in Copenhagen, so it's captivating Norway and Denmark, or you can choose to begin in Denmark and travel with us through Stockholm. So if you're interested in maybe a shorter portion of this tour, please just give us a call. We also have these options on our website that you can look at. So we do have several other tours that we're offering in 2019, but I just wanted to talk about a few more just in brief. And so if you are looking for something a little different, you may be interested in one of these other tours. For those of you that have traveled to Norway before and are wanting to explore a different area of Norway, I would suggest the spectacular Lofoten Islands, and it's here that you can see these on the land of the midnight sun. You'll spend a day exploring the islands that have been an inspiration to artists and for decades. So this is a 14-day tour. You'll begin in Trondheim and travel to Tromsø while learning more about this unique area of Norway and how the land shaped the way of life of the people that lived here. You also learn more about the German occupation of Norway during World War II, which forever changed this region. So if you'd like to visit more than just Norway, we also have a Taste of Norway and Sweden tour. It's a little bit shorter than our captivating Scandinavia tour. It starts in Bergen as well, and it travels through the fjord country to Oslo before you head to the Dalarna region of Stockholm. Along the way, you'll visit the Borgundstave Church, the Dala Wooden Horse Factory, the home of Carl Larsson, the Uppsala Cathedral, and more. At the end of the tour, you'll also have an entire day to explore parts of Stockholm that interest you the most. And finally, our family adventure tour is a wonderful opportunity for those that wish to take children to Norway. They'll learn more about their ancestral roots and have fun while doing it at Hunderfolsen Family Park outside of Lillehammer. In Fagernes, they can view historic buildings, national costumes, and learn more about the people that used to live and work in this rural area of Norway. So just a few, just touching on some of these other tours. We have other tours and complete itineraries available on our website. But if you do have any questions, I would recommend contacting our office and talking to one of our sales agents. They're more than happy to answer any questions that you may have on any of these tours. And we also have a number of special interest tours available in 2019. So if you have heritage connections to the Agder region of Norway, you may be interested in joining the Viking Age to Contemporary Norway tour, which features visits to southern Norway, and you'll get to actually spend 17. mai in Arendal. And if you've always dreamed of running a marathon under the midnight sun, then the next tour may be perfect for you. So, Journey Under the Midnight Sun, you'll have the chance to participate in the Midnight Sun Marathon in Tromsø. You're going to visit the family farm of your guide, Frode Tilden, and then you'll also get to enjoy a 3-hour rafting adventure. So, it's something you're looking for something a little bit more active, this would be a great tour for you to look at. And finally, if you're interested in Norway's history during World War II or have connection to the Gudbrandsdal region of Norway, the Gudbrandsdal's Log of America invites you to join them on a journey through the heart of Norway this August. So in addition to our escorted tours, we also offer a variety of independent travel options, including fjord tours, self-drive tours, adventure tours, and winter packages. Our independent travel options can be found online, or if you'd prefer to have a customized itinerary plan just for you, I would recommend contacting our office. So the first off is our tour extensions. You can spend a little bit more time in Scandinavia after your tour or before your tour. So we'll work with you to create a customized package for you, or we have some that are already created. So you can extend your time in Scandinavia with an extension in Norway, Iceland, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, the Faroe Islands, Russia. You can also join a cruise, such as the Norwegian coastal voyage that runs from Bergen and Kirkenes, and there's many more options. So some of our popular independent packages include the ever popular Norway in a Nutshell, which can be done as a 3-day or a 6-day package. You can also customize it to include additional nights along the way. Nordic Delight, which includes visits to the Scandinavian capitals of Oslo, Copenhagen, and Stockholm. You can add extensions to Helsinki, St. Petersburg, Russia, or Norway's fjord country. Now, Iceland has become a frequently requested destination in the past few years. One of the best ways to see this country is to rent a car and drive the Ring Road, which circles the island. And this can be done in as little as 9 days. If you're wanting to see the northern lights of Norway, travel to Tromsø. It's situated in the heart of the Northern Light Zone, and you can enjoy some fun and adventure, such as dog sledding and snowmobiling up in this area. Or for those looking to see the Northern Lights from Iceland, you can do that on an escorted tour. It's this Land and Northern Lights package. It's a short getaway. It covers South Iceland, which is an ideal location to search for the Northern Lights. And we have many more packages, and we can truly customize just about anything. So if you do have any questions, please give us a call or visit our website. We are happy to help you. And then for those that are looking for something that is created with just you in mind, we do offer customized tours for individuals, couples, families, and groups. We can include all of the arrangements needed, including drivers, guides, and more. Now, your tailor-made tour is based on your interests, areas of heritage, budget, and more. All it takes to get started is just to call or email our office, and one of our staff will be happy to assist you. Now, some of the groups that we've worked with in the past include church groups. We've helped museums, the U.S. Lighthouse Association, choirs and bands, both in the U.S. and in Norway, dance groups, World War II theme tours, architecture, quilting, art and music. We've done agricultural tours and much, much more. So there's really nothing outside of our scope. And if we haven't done it before, then we are eager to learn. So now if cruising is your preferred way to travel, Brekke Tours is here to help you with your travel plans. Now, whether you choose to explore the coast of Norway on the world's most beautiful voyage, or you plan to explore the kingdom of the polar bear, we're happy to help you by providing advice, travel tips, and more. So Hurtigrutten's Norwegian coastal voyage is a very easy way to explore the northern reaches of Norway. It goes along the coast of Norway and departs from Bergen and Kirkenes daily. They also offer a variety of cruise itineraries, including Spitsbergen, Iceland, Greenland, Europe, Antarctica, and more. And next year, they're actually going to be offering cruises to Alaska that are really unique. So if you've had Alaska on your bucket list but haven't quite found the cruise itinerary that meets your needs, you might want to check out Hurtigruten. They do also offer early booking discounts. So if you are considering a cruise for this year or next year, now would be the time to book. So the earlier you get your cabin on deposit, the more you can save. Another popular destination featuring Scandinavia is a Baltic cruise. So, with visits to Germany, Estonia, Russia, Finland, and Sweden, as well as Norway, it's a great way to get a taste of the Baltic capitals in only 12 days. So, and this would be with a different cruise line. So for more information about any of these cruises, or if you'd like to explore further cruise options, please feel free to contact our office. We're happy to send you brochures and more information. So we're going to open it up now for our questions. So we did have some questions that came in on our registration form, so I'm going to answer those first, and then we'll open it up to any other questions that you may have. You can type those questions down in the bottom right-hand corner. It's kind of faint. It says type your message. And if you just type it right in there, it will come to me and I'll answer those as soon as I run through the questions that came in on the form. So the first question is, what clothing should I pack? So we always recommend packing um, clothing that you can layer. So casual clothing is the norm for our escorted tours, and you'll want to bring good walking shoes. You'll also want to bring a jacket and perhaps a raincoat. Other things you might want to pack include an umbrella or a poncho, snacks, medication, including over-the-counter medicine, because sometimes it's hard to find things like Tylenol and aspirin, sunscreen, and a small day pack where you can store your sweaters, a water bottle, and your snacks. That's a great thing to bring along. We get this question a lot. When is the best time to go? And this one is a really tough question to answer because it's really a personal preference. If you would like to travel during the warmer months, then June to August would probably be your best bet. You can expect temperatures in the 60s and 70s in the lower regions of Norway and a little bit cooler up north, probably around 50s or 60s. Um, if you would like to avoid the crowds, you may wish to travel in May or September. Um, the weather is still nice during that time, but there are usually fewer visitors. Now, if seeing the Northern Lights is on your bucket list, you'll want to travel between November and March. And sometimes you can see the Northern Lights October and April, but the best time is probably November through March. You also want to plan your trip north of the Arctic Circle for the best chance to view the lights. So that would be Iceland, northern Norway, northern Sweden, northern Finland. And how much walking is required on our escorted tours? Now, a typical day, you'll have about 2, maybe 3 hours of walking, but it's broken up over the day. So at some stops, you may only have a 5-minute walk, and others it might be 10 to 15 minutes. For those with mobility issues, you always have a choice of whether or not you want to take part, but some things to note is a lot of the sidewalks and streets, especially in some of the older cities, are cobblestone, so those are difficult even for myself to get around, walking on the uneven surfaces. And then sometimes, the hills can be very steep, and then getting on and off the bus. Those are important things to think about. If you can handle all those things, then you should be perfectly fine. So if you require a scooter or something like that to get around, then our tours may not be the best option for you. But if you would like to talk to one of our agents, we can help maybe steer you in the right direction. So How many people on the tour? Now, the number of people traveling together on one of our escorted tours can vary, but typically you can expect 30 or more for our popular tours. So like our Best of Norway and Spectacular Norway, you can usually expect a 30 to 35 about average. Typically, we only take about 40 to 45 people on a tour. We only do one bus. So once that bus is full, that's it, and we always leave a few empty seats. Um, so we don't like to overcrowd everybody. On our out of the way tours, you can probably expect about 20 to 25, and sometimes even fewer. We've run tours with 12 people on a tour before, so it really just kind of depends. We have free time while on tour. Now, all of our tours do include a bit of free time so that you have an opportunity to pursue your own interests while in Scandinavia. And many people take this time to explore art museums, go shopping, or visit with friends and relatives in the area. Now, if additional time is needed for a particular visit, we can make those arrangements with you prior to leaving the US. All right, and then finally, adding days to a tour. If you'd like to spend a little bit more time in Scandinavia, or would like to take a day out of the itinerary to visit family heritage sites, our staff is more than happy to help you with those plans. We can do everything from just getting a hotel night to booking extended stays, or figuring out how to get you from point A to point B and then back again. That's what we do. That's what we're all about. So we do have some questions that came in. Great. So, how do you charge for a personal tour? Carol, uh, I'm assuming that you're talking about for a customized tour. We do have a planning fee. It is $100, and that it does count towards the overall cost of your trip, provided that it's more than $1,500. Um, so we take the time to research where it is that you're wanting to go, how to put all that together for you. We can do everything from, you just need a car rental or you need the whole gambit of services. You need car rental, you need trains, you need buses, everything. So if you have some ideas in mind about where you want to go, what you want to see, how much time you plan to visit, and kind of a budget idea, those are all the things we need to get started. And then we can put something together for you, and we worked with you to tweak, the itinerary to get it just the way you want it before we proceed with booking anything. But all it takes is $100 to get started and a phone call or an email. So it's pretty easy. And for the best, what time does oh, okay. So Carolyn, you ask about Pulpit Rock, and so we do not include Pulpit Rock in our tour, but you do have some free time. There is a cruise that you can take that will go along the Lissa Fjord. So you could take the cruise, and that way you could see Pulpit Rock in the afternoon. If you're planning on hiking the Pulpit Rock, I would recommend an actual to stay an extra day because that can be a full day hike. I've done that hike myself. It took my husband and I 2.5 hours to hike up and an hour and a half to hike down. And then with you have to take a ferry and a bus to the base of Pulpit Rock, and then again the bus and the ferry back. So it is pretty much a full day. So if hiking is your plan, then I would add a day at the end of that tour so that you can do that. And Carol, you asked about May. Actually, we don't get a lot of people that travel on to Norway in May. We do get a few that want to go because they want to visit the country during September, but it's not quite as busy as you would think. So if you are available to travel in May, that is a great time to go. Since school is not out yet, it's difficult for people to travel during that month. Jan, you asked if we had any special rates for singles. We do have a few tours that have a lower single supplement. The hotels in Scandinavia, unfortunately, do charge additional rates for single rooms. But if that's something that you're interested in, we can certainly um, get. I'll get back with you on that and give you some options that might be better. Then, okay, you had a follow-up question. We do have, if you are a single traveler and are open to traveling with another single person of the same sex, so we don't do a man and a woman, single in a room. It's a woman, woman, man, man. We do offer the option on our tour application form to put that yes, you are open to having a roommate. And essentially, what we do is if there is another person that has the same thing, we get you in contact with each other before you depart. Make sure that you guys are going to be able to coexist or habitate together in a room, and then if that works out, then that's great, and you guys can share a room while on tour. So that is one way that we try to help out some of our single travelers. I apologize, my voice is starting to go. If we have any more questions, I'm happy to answer those now, or as long as my voice holds out. So while we wait, maybe for some more questions to come in, I'll go ahead and pop this back up with our $100 special, and that is that goes through next Friday. So if you are interested in either of these tours, please let us know. Again, remember Captivating Scandinavia. If you're interested in just taking a portion of that tour, we do offer that as well. And then a shorter similar version is Taste of Norway and Sweden, which features visits to Norway and Sweden and also has departures from Chicago. So, all right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, oh, travel insurance. Okay, Carolyn. Let's see. So travel insurance, we do offer travel insurance on our group Escorted Tours with a travel company called Travel X. And so when you register for a tour, we send this information to you. It has a set amount based on your trip costs. So I'm just pulling these numbers out of the air. I don't have the brochure in front of me. If your trip cost is $4,000, then your premium is $250. And it doesn't matter what age you are or anything like that. So it's a set fee, and we provide you with that information, and it covers in case you have to cancel or if you get sick, a family member gets sick, that sort of thing. So it will cover you for that. So we've we've worked with TravelX a lot this year, and so they've been really wonderful to work with. So. All right. Well, I have our contact information displayed now. If you have any questions that you think of later, I'm one of those that is like, oh, I think about something about 20 minutes after I should have. Um, our phone number is there, and then our email address followed by our website. Please feel free to give any one of us a call and or email us either way. And before we depart, I'll leave you guys looking out over the Brekke Hotel, which is one of the hotels that we use on some of our tours, and that's located in Flum. As you can see, it's right on the water. So if you would like to join us there this summer, we would love to have you. And so thank you all once again for joining us today. We hope to see you in Scandinavia this summer. Thank you so much.